Hey everybody, it's Gabriella with the Bible Art Journaling Challenge, and today we're doing 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8, which says, "Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends." Now that's verse 4 through the beginning of verse 8, but I'm also going to be doing verse 13, which says, "So now faith, hope, and love abide. These three, but the greatest of these is love." Now you can see I applied the Liquitex Match Medium to my paper in a thin coat with a fan brush, and I'm going to be using the stamp letters love with black ink and my Stampin' Up! Embossing powder and heat gun, and I also have a stamp cleaner with stamp spray, which you just rub the stamps on there and it cleans them off very nicely. And so I got my L stamp and I practiced it a few times, and then I stamped it on my paper and poured embossing powder on it. But my Match Medium wasn't completely dry all the way, so I was using a toothpick to try and get as much off as I could, but in the end there was quite a bit left over. That's what you'll see later. So then I heated it up with my embossing gun until it was nice and gold. And then I got my next stamp, which is O, and stamped that on there, but I stamped it twice because the first time it didn't show up properly, so I did it twice, but I kind of regretted that later because then I had a big fat double-layered O, but oh well. Then as you can see, I pour embossing powder on top of the stamp, and it sticks very well actually. And then you have to brush off the excess, or obviously there's a lot left over. And then with my heat gun, it just works wonders. It heats it up till it's this shiny gold thing, and I don't know how it does it, but it's very cool. I would encourage you to try it sometime. And I just wanted to tell you that I'm going to be using my Distress inks that I just got very recently, and it's going to be the first time I've used them, and I'm really excited to try them out, and I hope it turns out good. And yeah, but now I'm stamping a butterfly on there. I was going to do a heart, but I could not find a heart stamp anywhere, so I decided to do a butterfly instead. And it looks very nice, a very nice gold butterfly. Alright, now I'm going to be using my Distress inks I got the mini Distress inks because I couldn't afford to pay for the big ones, and I also got a blending tool, the mini blending tool. Now I'm going to be using Peacock Feathers, which is that one, Picked Raspberry, which is a nice pink, and Mustard Seed, which is a very brilliant yellow, and I really like them all. And I used Rebecca's style of blending. I don't think I did it exactly the same, but I tried to do it similar. Now here you can see I started, but then I realized that I hadn't used my papers to cover up my verse yet because I wanted it to be white so I could see the verse very well. So I quickly cut out my papers, which I had done that ahead of time, and stuck them on there. And I used sticky notes, but they didn't turn out the best. But then you can see I'm using the pink to just blend around in several different areas with my mini blending tool, while being careful not to get it so that the paper comes up, and to make sure it's all very nice and even. So using the pink, I blended it and tried to make sure that it didn't get on the other page of my Bible because my white printer paper kept slipping off. Now I'm going to be linking all of my products that I used at the bottom of the page so you can see where I got them and which ones I used, and I hope that you enjoy that. Now I'm going, as you can see, I'm using the peacock feathers just to go around nearby the pink and leaving space for the yellow mustard seed. And so I finished doing peacock feathers, and I'm using my mustard seed now. And I just wanted to make sure that there was lots of mustard seed on there because I want my yellow to be nice and bright because I don't want a dull yellow, you know. So I'm using the yellow to go around by the pink and blue, and I'm trying to keep it all kind of equally in portions so it's not a ton of pink and a ton of blue, but a little bit of yellow. So I was trying to leave an even amount of paper for each color. And my sticky note came off there. I was just putting that back on. But when you do blend it together, you want to use a circular motion, and maybe you want it to come off the page, but you make sure you want to use a circular motion. Don't just stamp it on there because that will not look as nice. And you want to make sure you make it all equal. You don't want one part of it to be dark and one part of it to be light. You know what I mean? So now I'm almost finished with my page. There's just a little bit left. I was just adding a little more pink, a little more blue, and a little more yellow, just to add a little bit more color. And you can kind of see around the edges, especially with the blue and yellow, it kind of mixed together and made a little bit of green. But I think the green doesn't look bad, so I just left that alone. And I'm just adding a little bit more of each color just to get rid of the rest of the white, so it's all nice and colored in. And I had a fingerprint over in the corner I was trying to cover up. So then I took off the sticky notes, took off the one piece of paper, and that is the finished product. I hope you like it.